Hello, my dear students, third year English section. Here we are again. This is Fatma Mahmoud, and this is our second online section in cost accounting course. I hope you are enjoyed in our course. Today we will complete chapter 2, which is titled by an introduction to cost terms and purposes. In the first section we discussed many terminologies that are considered the basics of cost accounting course, and we solve some short exercises and true or false questions and multiple choice questions. Today we will complete on it. Let's go to first part of questions, which is related to اللي هي multiple choice. Number 1, which of the following is true if the volume of sales increase within a relevant range? The volume of sales increase here he mean is the level of activity or the volume of البرودكشن أو الأوتبوت بتاعي. And the relevant range we define it as the band or the range of normal activity level or a volume in which there is a specific relationship between the level of activity and the cost. Directly, which is related to the cost. So when the level of activity increase directly, as we discussed in the first section, a total variable cost increase. So the choice here will be C, total variable cost increase, because there is a direct relationship between a level of activity and total variable cost. Number 2, which of the following is fixed cost with respect to units produced in a factory? With respect to units produced, he means that mean by it total production or a level of activity. Fixed cost here, as we said in the first chapter, fixed cost is the costs that remain constant in total regardless of the volume of production or level of activity. This is in total. While fixed cost per unit, there is inverse relationship or indirect relationship between fixed cost per unit and level of activity. As the production or level of activity increase, fixed cost per unit decrease because it is spread over more units. So when we look at our choices, we will find monthly rent payment for the building is the fixed cost, because this is not related to a level of activity or will not affect by a level of activity. If you produce a 1,000 unit, you will pay the monthly rent for the building. If you didn't produce any unit, you will pay the monthly rent for the building. So this is a fixed cost, but the other are variable cost. Number 3, cost behavior refers to, as we said in the first chapter, he may the terminology cost behavior, he may call it cost pattern. يعني we mean the two terminologies are equal. When we talk about cost behavior, we have two main types, which are fixed cost and variable cost. We talked about them and define a variable cost as the costs that change in total with the change in the level of activity, and per unit variable cost per unit remain constant to the level of activity, but fixed cost in total remain constant, while fixed cost per unit is there is an inverse relationship between a fixed cost per unit and level of activity. So the cost behavior refers to how costs react to a change in the level of activity. Number 4, which of the following is true if the production volume decrease? If we can say it by which of the following is true if the level of activity decrease. When the level of activity decrease, the fixed cost per unit increase, because this is inverse relationship or indirect relationship between them, as fixed cost per unit is spread over more units. Number 5, variable costs increase in total when the actual level of activity increase. Yes, we explained it before. Number 6, fixed costs depend on the amount of unchanged costs for a given time period. Yes. Number 7, which of the following statements is true? أي من العبارات التالية صحيح. Which of the following statements is true? There is a cause and effect relationship between the cost driver and the amount of cost. Yes, that's true. Because we define the cost driver as a variable such as a level of activity or a volume that causally affects the costs over a given time is spent. This is a cost driver. So there is a cause and effect relationship between the cost driver and the amount of cost. Number 8, a band of normal activity or volume in which specific cost to volume relationship are maintained is referred to as relevant range. This is the definition of relevant range. Within the relevant number 9, within the relevant range, if there is a change in the level of cost driver, then the total fixed cost will remain the same and the total variable cost will change, because we defined the relevant range as a band of normal activity or volume in which specific cost to volume relationship are maintained, and fixed costs are considered fixed only within the relevant range. So the correct choice is total fixed cost will remain the same and total variable costs will change. Number 10, a unit cost is computed by and this point we referred to it as the last exercise in the first equation. When we compute a unit cost, we divide total manufacturing costs by the number of units produced. Second part of equations is true or false questions. Number 1, a fixed cost is fixed only in relation to a given wide range of total activity or volume and only for a given time span, usually a particular budget period. Yes, that's true. A fixed cost fixed only in relation to a given a wide range of total activity, and only for a given time span, usually a particular budget period. Yes, that's true. A cost driver is a variable such as the level of activity or volume that causally affect costs over a given time span. Yes, that's true. Fixed cost per unit falls when an increase in production volume. Yes, because there is an inverse relationship between fixed cost per unit and level of activity. Number 4, variable costs per unit vary or differentiate with the level of production or sales volume per unit. Note, just focus on the sentence number 4. Variable cost per unit vary or not the same, will be not the same with the level of production. No, we said that variable cost per unit remain constant with the level of activity. Number 5, wood used to manufacture chairs is considered a direct variable cost when the cost object is a chair. Yes, this is true. We said that direct to the cost object. As a chair is the cost object and we manufacture a chair, yes, this is so the cost of wood is a direct variable cost. Number 6, a fixed cost remain unchanged in total for a given time period, despite wide change in the related level of total activity or volume of output produced. Yes, that's true, and we concentrate here in the difference between variable costs and fixed costs. You must focus at this point and clearly understand this point. So let's move to the third part of our question, is short exercise. Number 1, Al-Nagar is a clothing retailer. Unit costs associated with one of its products اللي هو product Z are as follows. Direct material $110. This is a unit cost. This is a unit cost, not total cost. Direct material unit cost me $110 and direct manufacturing labor cost $90. Variable manufacturing overhead cost $45. Fixed manufacturing overhead $33. Sales commission 2% of sales $10. Administrative salaries is $28. So total cost per unit is $316. What are the direct variable manufacturing costs per unit? Direct, listen and understand what is required. What are the direct and variable? Direct and variable, not indirect, not fixed. And manufacturing, direct, variable manufacturing costs per unit associated with product Z. So we have direct and variable. We have what here? Direct and variable manufacturing costs. Yes, number 1, direct material. Number 2, direct manufacturing labor. Number 3, variable manufacturing overhead costs. only the variable part. Don't take the fixed part of اللي هو manufacturing overhead. Don't take it. We need just the variable part. So we will add 110 plus 90 plus 45, and the total will be $245. This is the direct variable manufacturing cost for the product Z. Al Farouk is a clothing retailer. Unit cost is associated with one of its product. Unit cost. This is the cost per unit. يعني one unit cost me $237, and one unit cost me direct material $120, and direct labor $40, and variable manufacturing overhead $50, fixed manufacturing overhead $33, and sales commission 2% of sales, administrative salaries $24. The required is, what are the indirect non-manufacturing? What is required here? Differentiate between what is required here in number 2 and what is required in number 1. Number 2, he required the indirect non-manufacturing variable costs per unit. Indirect and non-manufacturing variable. But number 1, he want direct and variable manufacturing cost per unit. So in number 2, we will compute only the indirect non-manufacturing variable costs. We will non-manufacturing. We will find it sales in sales commission $5. Yes, this is the only indirect non-manufacturing variable costs here. So the answer will be A, which is 5. Number 3, in the first year of operation, Universal Corporation sells 52,000 units and has 1,700 units in stock at year end. The cost of goods sold are 3,10,000,000. What are the total manufacturing costs for the year if average unit cost is $8.50? Here we must compute total manufacturing costs that will contain the units that in the stock, which are 1,700 units, and the cost of goods sold, that is here cost is 3,100,000. So we will compute the total manufacturing cost by adding the cost of goods sold plus the cost of units in stock. The cost of units in stock is 1,700 units multiplied by $8.50. This is the cost of units in stock plus the cost of goods sold 3,100,000. So the total manufacturing cost will be as follow. Will be the choice number A, which is 3,115,450 Number 4, when 25,000 units are produced, fixed costs are $21 per unit. When we produce 25,000 units, the fixed cost per unit was $21 per unit. Therefore, when we produce just 20,000 units, so the fixed cost will per unit will be هنا. Note that the level of activity is decreased. The level of activity is decreased, so the fixed cost per unit will المفروض ان هو increase. يبقى this is أول this is the first note we explain. So we will calculate the total fixed cost when we produce 25,000 units. When we produce $25,000, the fixed cost will be 25,000 units multiplied by $21, the cost per unit. So the total fixed cost will be $525,000. This is the total fixed cost. We divide the total fixed cost, which is remain constant, to the change in the level of activity. So this is remain constant. When we produce 25,000 units, the total fixed cost will be $525,000. When we produce 20,000 units, the total fixed cost will be $525,000. We divide this by 20,000 units, so the fixed cost per unit will be 26 and $25, which is increased from $21 to 26 per unit. I hope you understand this. Thanks a lot for being listening.